Okay, thank you to my subscriber who requested this problem be done on a video, and I am making sure to help you out before the weekend hits. All right, we got a quadratic, but it's not equal to 0, right? It's equal to 4. We cannot solve a quadratic using the quadratic formula unless it's set equal to 0 first. So we're going to take 4 away, so I can get a 0 over here. Take 4 away on the left side. Notice that this has an x, this has an x, so this is not a like term with either of these. We're going to end up getting a trinomial of 3x squared plus 13x minus 4. But now we're equal to 0, so now we can plug this information into our good old quadratic formula. If you don't have this memorized, memorize it as soon as you can, because if you're being asked to solve quadratics, this is your go-to if you can't factor it quickly. All right, so we've got an A, a B, and a C. So we just got to plug the numbers into the quadratic formula correctly. So we're going to say negative 13 is my B, plus or minus the square root of B goes here as well. So 13 squared minus 4 times A, which is a 3, times C, which is a, got to make sure you get that negative in there. That's been the struggle with my students. A lot of them are forgetting to put the negatives in there. And then this is all over 2 times the value of A. Okay, so if you're not sure what is what, just write it down and have it written in your notebook and go to your notebook. Eventually you'll start to memorize what values go where. Okay, we just start working this out. So I'm just going to grab this and we'll start erasing as we go. We'll try and stay in one spot. Negative parenthesis 13, just turn that into a negative 13. 13 squared is 169. Negative 4 times 3, that's negative 12. Negative 12 times a negative 4, that's going to be a positive 48. Okay, then we're going to take 2 times 3, and we're going to get that 6 down on the bottom. All right, 2 times 3 giving me 6. All right, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to combine those values inside of the radical. You want to make sure that you add those up, put them down, and then sometimes you're going to get a number that's really nice and neat in here. Other times you're going to get something that's going to give us a really nasty decimal. This is one of those scenarios where we're going to get a really nasty decimal. So 169 plus 48 is going to give me 217. Okay, square root of 217 is not going to come out pretty. So I go to my calculator, I say square root of 217, and I write this number down. Now, this is a very long decimal that I'm going to have to write down. Don't do what some of my kids are asking. They took the square root of 217, and then they're rounding this number. If you round this number right now, you're not using the actual value. You don't want to round until you get to the very end, and that's only if you're asked to. So plus 14.73091986. Okay? And our last and final step is just take this value, add that value, divide by 6. Then take this value, subtract this value, divide by 6. That's going to give us our 2 answers. So let's take some time, grab a calculator, get ready. Negative 13 plus 14.73091986. I hit enter. Right now my calculator is holding this new number up on top, and then I just say divide by 6. My new value is, I'll write them over here. I got 0.28848666433. If you're rounding the nearest tenth, you could say 0.3. So that's my first answer. If they're asking you around the nearest hundredth, 0.29 or 29 hundredths. Let's get the second answer. The second answer is going to come from using the subtraction symbol. Negative 13 minus 14 point. So you're going to say negative 13 minus 14.73091986. Enter. Take that number, divide it by 6, and we get negative 4.621819977. Let's say you were asked to round it to the nearest 10th place like we did up here. We would say approximately -4 point, the 2 tells me to keep that a 6. So there's the two answers I would give if being asked to round to the nearest 10th place. Okay? So how do we do this? First and foremost, we have to set it up equal to 0. So we move everything to one side. Now that it's equal to 0, we know what our A, our B, and our C is, so we can plug that information into the quadratic formula, work the quadratic formula out, and boom, 2 answers are provided for us. So the subscriber also wanted me to do one more problem, so I'm going to erase this and put a new problem up there for you. We'll go through both of them, hopefully help this kid out. All right, and I hope if anybody's on spring break right now, you're having a great time enjoying your break from the hard work you put in every single day. You deserve it. All right, c squared equals 5c. C squared equals 5c. All right, we've got a quadratic, but it's not equal to 0. I want to move this 5c over there to the other side. So I'm going to take 5c away, take 5c away. These are not like terms. Yeah, I know they both have c, but this is a c squared term, and this one's just 5c. So we're going to keep these separate. C squared minus 5c equals 0. Now that I have it set equal to 0, I know what my a, my b, and I'm missing c, right? Because ax squared plus bx plus c, we don't have the constant at the end. It's just a 0. We wouldn't show it. We're not going to say plus 0. That'd be silly. Okay, so we've got an equation written out. We have an a, we have a b, but we have no c right there. Okay, that's fine. Let's just use our quadratic formula and see what happens. Negative b, so negative, my b's -5, plus or minus the square root of, again, my b is -5, squared, minus 4 times my a. C is a variable with a coefficient of 1 in front. We just don't show the 1, but you do need to show it there. And remember, we have ax squared plus bx, but no c. The c is a 0, so you need to put a 0 in right there. And then 2 times a. A is the 1. Okay, take a second, make sure you understand this. This equation could be written out plus 0 equals 0. Ax squared plus bx plus c. We just don't need to show that. That's like saying add nothing. You wouldn't ever say that, so there's no reason to ever write that. So we just write it like this. Because we don't see a c value, we don't write a number there. We put a 0. Change this double negatives, turn it into a positive. -5 squared makes 25. -4 times 1 times 0 would make a 0. So -0, no need to write that. We're just taking the square root of 25. Over 2 times 1, which would just make a 2. This is what I end up getting. Clean it up a little bit. Square root of 25 just turns into what? What number times itself makes 25? This one actually comes out nice for us. It's a perfect square root, so it just comes out to 5. So we need to do 5 plus 5 divided by 2. And we need to do 5 minus 5 divided by 2. These will give us our 2 solutions to the quadratic. 5 plus 5 makes 10. Divided by 2 makes 5. That's my first solution. 5 minus 5 makes 0. Divided by 2 makes 0. That is my second solution. So 5 and 0 are the 2 places on the x-intercept, or excuse me, on the x-axis that parabola is going to cross. What I mean by that is, what I know about this quadratic is when graphed, we're crossing here and we're crossing there. All right, study hard, and good luck on your upcoming test.